Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon to all the participants of this webinar. I warmly welcome you, all of you, from the platform of MedPrepOnline. And I am Dr. Aqsa, one of the mentors of the MRCPCH Part 1. Today, which is obviously, you all know that is the agenda for discussion today. Because we were receiving a lot of queries on the daily basis, like what is the MRCPCH Part 1, how many parts it has, what are the study materials available, how to study, what could be the study schedule, on which topics we have to emphasize, what are the study materials available for the revision, like MCQ series. And then there were many queries regarding how to apply for the exam, when the exam window is going to open, and how can we create the exam account, what are the exam centers availability, and if it is available online, like in which you can take your exam at your home facility, then in which countries that are available. So there were a lot of queries regarding MRCPCH Part 1. So we decided to give you an orientation regarding that, and I am really thankful for the MedPrep online platform for providing such a huge opportunity for all of you to get an extensive orientation regarding MRCPCH Part 1. I hope it will be very beneficial for you. As at the end of the webinar, we have a question and answer sessions in which you can ask any question if you have any query, but you can also leave your question or query in the comment box. I can read that and I will answer that. So let's just get started with it. First of all, I want to share something with you. Nothing is free in life. You have to pay, as you all people know. Even knowledge isn't free. You have to pay attention. So first and the foremost necessity of anything is that you have to pay attention and you have to give time. So what's first step towards your MRCPCH journey is you have to pay attention and you have to spend some time regarding taking information regarding MRCPCH Part 1. So if you are joining this webinar and you are giving your like about 45 to 40 minutes for this webinar, then you are going towards your first step towards the MRCPCH journey. So you will give your time, your attention, and you will collect all the information which is needed for your preparation of the MRCPCH Part 1. So I hope so you will stay with me and will give all of your attention, and then there will be the second step that will start after this webinar, and that is your preparation and application of the exam for the MRCPCH Part 1. So let's just start with it. Our agenda or today's objective for the webinar are, as you all know what is MRCPCH, I will just give a brief introduction of it. Then we will talk about the Part 1, that is FOP and the TAS. What are the exam patterns? How can you prepare for that? What are the study materials available? How to study? What are the important topics on which we have to... someone's mic is... Please mute it. Okay, then what are the important topics on which, what are the exam pattern, some important topics on which you have to concentrate during your preparation. Then there is always some strategy to attempt the question. And if you have given or if you have taken your exam like Part 1 and you are not able to go through it, then what are the reasons why you can fail this exam? Then the second part is the how to book your exam. I will guide you from the first step to the end, like how you can create an exam account on the RCPCH website. Then what are the prerequisites of for the registration and all of these things. Then at the end, we will have a question and answer session in which I will answer all of your queries if there are any left after this webinar. So let's just start it. What is MRCPCH? You all know that it is a membership of Royal College of Pediatrics and the Child Health. It is a very prestigious degree. Why you need it? Why you have to go for it? If you are motivated enough that you want to upgrade your knowledge and learn an internationally recognized degree, because it is a very prestigious qualification. You can get your GMC registration, that is the UK registration, after which you can start as a pediatrician in the UK. You will get a registrar job in the UK, and if you want to enter the pediatric training in the UK, then you can start from the ST4 level. It is also an internationally recognized qualification. If we talk about UAE, then you can work there as a consultant pediatrician after MRCPCH plus 3 years of experience. So there are many benefits of it, and the foremost and the most important thing is that you will upgrade your knowledge. You will learn many things. Like there is the involvement of many pediatric guidelines, neonatal guidelines. This exam will start you from your basics like anatomy, physiology, pathophysiology, pharmacology, ethics, and it will take you to the extreme of your treatment options, like what are the recent advances in any disease or any thing which is going on. So you will have a comprehensive knowledge of anything which you are studying in the exam. So now we jump on to the part 1, which is our today's agenda of discussion. But how many parts are there for the part 1? There are three theory exams of the total MRCPCH, which you may sit in any order, and 1 clinical exam. But we will talk about only theory exam, and among the theory exams, we will talk about only part 1. So there is foundation of practice, theory and science, applied knowledge, which these both of FOP and the TAS, they make part 1. Then part 2 is the applied knowledge and practice, and the third one is the clinical exam. So we will talk about today about the FOP and the TAS. As you all know, now what is FOP, foundation of practice? It was previously called as part 1A. And what is this exam about? This exam is about, it assesses a candidate's knowledge, understanding, and clinical decision-making abilities. What does that mean? It's actually, I am telling you all of these just to give an insight of the FOP, like how the question they are asked in the FOP examination. It is different from the theory and science. And I will talk about later about this, okay, what is the difference between these two. But to get you a knowledge or orientation regarding FOP, it assesses a candidate's knowledge. You have much knowledge already. Further, you will study your books for the preparation of the FOP exam, and you will get enough knowledge. But this exam is not at all about the knowledge only. Of course, they will ask you, suppose they will give you sign and symptoms of a disease. Suppose they are giving you scenario, like you are presenting with a patient presented in the ER with a narrow QRS complex tachycardia. Now, what is the diagnosis? And they will give you the heart rate of the 250 plus. And these are the signs and symptoms of the other, but they will give you the 2 clues. That is, the heart rate is the tachycardia 250 plus, and it is a narrow complex tachycardia. Then what is the diagnosis? You know that, yeah, this is a very good, Dr. Kurat. This is SVT, obviously. This is your knowledge. You have already read all about it. So you are applying your knowledge here, that this is the SVT. Then what is the understanding and clinical decision-making abilities? They will ask you, this is one type of scenario. Then what is the other type of scenarios which they will test you with? They will give you a patient which is presenting to the ER, and that is patient is up and above, and he is same is the scenario is they will say there is a SVT, supraventricular tachycardia, but patient is up and above. What will be the best next step for the treatment? So you know that what is the treatment of SVT? There are many methods, like you have to go first for the vagal maneuvers, then you can go for the IV medication, that is adenosine, and then the third is the you can go for the synchronized cardioversion, and then definitive treatment is when the patient is stable, that is the radiofrequency ablation. So they will give you scenario with sign and symptoms. Either the patient is in shock or patient is stable. And then they will ask you regarding the management or the treatment options available. So they are basically testing your clinical decision-making abilities. They are giving a real-time scenario, like this patient, this is this patient with SVT presented to the ER with in collapse state, or a patient is with the feeble pulses, or the patient is up and above. So you have to decide on your clinical knowledge with your understanding of that topic and your decision-making abilities. You have to critically analyze that situation or that scenario. Then how will you go for that? How will you choose your treatment options? So if the patient is in shock, you will obviously you will not go for the vagal maneuvers or IV adenosine as your first line step. You will go for the synchronized cardioversion. But if the patient is stable and you will obviously go for the vagal maneuvers first. But if the patient has already done vagal maneuvers at home and now you presented with unable to resolve this tachycardia, then you will go for the IV adenosine and you will not go through again for the vagal maneuvers. So this is just an example of a scenario, like how they will test. They will test your knowledge, obviously they will test, but they will check the depth of the knowledge and the depth of the understanding and how you will proceed during a real-time scenario that is presented to the ER where you are working as a PG trainee or a resident or as a consultant. So they of the MRCPCH, it is called as the MRCPCH Part 1, but it is also a part of DCH exam of the UK that is called as a Diploma of Child Health. It has only one theory part and one clinical examination. So if you are going for the MRCPCH Part 1, that is the FOP, if you have given, you have taken that and you have passed it, then it is also counted as the counted for the DCH exam. And after that, you only have to give clinical exam of the DCH, and then you will also get the degree of the DCH, Diploma of the Child Health. So this exam lasts for about 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 30 minutes. And the questions are typically a combination of, there are 70 questions of single best answers and 10 questions of extended matching questions. And it is always in the morning. FOP, if you are going for together, like FOP and TAS on the same day, then you will get the FOP in the morning and the TAS in the evening. And there are total 80 questions, 70 are the single best answers questions, and 10 are the extended matching questions. But they can vary. It's not a hard and fast rule. Like in the COVID exams, when there was a COVID, though they changed the exam total number of questions. They even give the 60 total questions, like 10 extended matching and 50 single best answer question. So it's up to RCPCH. They can change anything at any time. So it's not any hard and fast rule, but typically what is written and what they have provided with the information on the RCPCH website, these are the 70 and the 10 questions which are available in exam. Now we will talk about what is TAS, theory and science. It is previously was called as MRCPCH Part 1B. What it is all about, it assesses the basic scientific, physiological, pharmacological, and anatomical principle of any clinical practice. What does it mean? How it differs from the FOP? I told you all about the FOP, what they will test your knowledge, understanding, your decision-making abilities. What will they test about in the TAS? They will test about they will start from the basic. Like if we take the cardiology system, then they will ask you about the anatomy of the heart. Where is the AV node situated? Where is the SA node situated? Where are the coronary sinuses going to drain? What is the blood supply of the heart? Then where is the ductus arteriosus situated? Where is the foramen ovales situated? This is all about the anatomy. Then you have to read the physiology. Obviously, you have to know that what is the physiology they are going to ask. As we all know that, so we are taking the example of cardiology. As we know that after when a baby is born, after that there are many changes in its fetal circulation. So there is going to be ductus arteriosus is going to be closed, foramen ovale is going to be closed. We all know that they closes, but what is the physiology behind it? How does it closes? Is there any decrease in pulmonary vascular resistance? There is any increase in PO2 of the blood? What are the reasons why the ductus arteriosus is going to close? What are the changes in the circulation which are going to cause it? What are the reasons behind the foramen ovale closure? So this is all about physiology. Then if the ductus arteriosus is not going to close and you see after like about 10 to 12 days that there is a patent ductus arteriosus, and we can check that by having a continuous machinery murmur on the left second intercostal space and which is radiating to the interscapular region, then we say that it is a patent ductus arteriosus. It is not closed. Then what is the pathophysiology behind that mechanism? Then they are going to test you about the pathology and along with its physiology. Then if there is a PTA, patient is in the PTA with PTA, and baby is admitted in the nursery, and he's or she is going into the failure, and then you have to give the IV anti-failure treatment. What is that? Diuretics. You have to go for the furosemide, Lasix. Then if you are going to give that, obviously we all know that we are going to give that IV diuretics. Then what is the mechanism of action of that furosemide? They are going to test you for that. So this is all basics about any system and about any disease. They will start from the anatomy, from the physiology, from the pathology, from the pharmacology, then some microbiology also. Okay, what if the patient presented with early neonatal sepsis? Suppose a neonate presented with you signs of sepsis, and you make a diagnosis of early onset sepsis or it's a late onset sepsis. Then what are the most common organisms behind that, which are causing the early onset sepsis or the late onset sepsis? So they will test you all about this. This is all about the task. This is the basic difference from the FOP, where they are going to test about your knowledge, how you are going to make a diagnosis, then what is the how you are going to investigate a patient which is presented with some clinical sign and symptoms, and how you are going to make a decision, like on treatment you have to put on the patient. While for the task and theory and science, suppose we take the example of SVT in the FOP examination. Then if we take the same example in the task, then they will ask you about the anatomy and the physiology and the pathophysiology of that SVT. Like what is the pathophysiology behind SVT? We know why it is called supraventricular tachycardia. We know that there is an accessory pathway which is conducting the accessory electrical impulses, which is going to cause the heart to beat so faster. So this is the basic difference between the task and the FOP, and the type of the questions, which is the so both need different books, almost same books, but different strategies to prepare for that. It is only a part of the MRCPCH exam. It has no role in the DCH exams. It also lasts for 2.5 hours, and the questions are typically same, like combination. There are 70 single best answer questions, and 10 are extended matching questions. And it is always they take in the afternoon. So are you with me? Do you have any ambiguity up till now? What is about the FOP and the test, and what is the difference between what type of scenarios they are asked in both exams? And anything you can ask me. Now, next we go to the, I want to give you an overview of, I already told you about single best answer questions and the extended matching question, but do you know what are both these about? Single best answer questions are like, they are given, you will be given a scenario with 5 options that are partially correct, but where one answer is superior. There is one best answer given from a given list, although okay, there is a question, from which book we need to start preparation, online or book? I will just stay with me. I'm going to tell you all about the study materials and the study methodology. So what are the single best answer questions? There is a one scenario with 5 options that could be all partially correct, but there is only one superior answer. So you have to choose that one best answer from a given list. Although all the answer options are given may be reasonable, but there will be only one best answer. And that's why it is called single best answer question. Marks will only be awarded for choosing the correct answer. So this is the type, and it will only cover only one aspect of a topic. So possible questions maybe they could ask like, what is the most likely diagnosis? Which investigation is most likely to lead a diagnosis? What is the best next step? What is the best next advice you can give to the parent? And what is the most common cause of this? These are the type of questions they will ask with a scenario, and then this will be the lead on. And this is the type. There is a scenario given. Like we can see there is a scenario given. Then they have asked to a lead on question, what is the most probable diagnosis? And there is a list of 5 options, and they are all about similar. they could all you can all these list, you can in what are the options are given, you can relate all of these with the sign and symptoms of the scenario. But you know that there is only one single best answer, there is only one best person in a whole class, or who is going to the top, on the top. So you have to go for that, you have to choose, you have to rule out what is the best next step, and what is the best next diagnosis, or what is the best next investigation. You can ask for that in that scenario. Then now we talk about the extended matching questions. What are these? There will be a list of 10 possible answers on the top of the screen. There will be given 10 options, 10 possible options of answers, and then at the bottom there will be given 3 scenarios, clinical scenarios, and these are often accompanied by a lab result that are similar but with differences. So candidate choose the best option from the introductory list. I will give I will just give will show you how they are presented, and same, they will only cover one aspect of a topic. So possible questions may be, there are 10 options for the answers, and there are 3 clinical scenarios, and these 3 clinical scenarios will cover only one topic. Either they are asked about the diagnosis. If they have chosen the diagnosis, then all the 3 scenarios will be given with sign and symptoms, and they will ask you what is the diagnosis in every scenario. If they have chosen the treatment option, then with the sign and symptom and diagnosis, there will be scenario, all the 3 scenarios will have that, and in all the 3 scenarios they will be asked about the treatment options. It's not possible that in one scenario they ask the diagnosis, and in the second scenario they ask the treatment, and the third scenario they ask about the microorganism. No, they will, all will be same. Like if they have asked the diagnosis, then all the 3 scenarios will be about the diagnosis, and if they have asked about the treatment option, then all the 3 scenarios will be about the treatment option. Like this, above there is the 10 options. There is a list of ages. Like in this scenario they have asked about the ages, so there is an option of the 10 answers, and then at the bottom they have asked about you, they have asked you about the 3 scenarios, and in which you have to give the answer. Like they have taken the age at which which. So this is the scenario. These are the 3 scenarios in which they have asked you about the age, and there is a possible 10 options for the answers at the above. So you have to choose the 3 options which are correct for all of the 3 scenarios. So this is the type of the extended matching questions, and there will be only 10 questions regarding that. The remaining 70 questions will be single best answer questions. Okay, this is the, I am going to answer. Then there is N of many. This is the type of the question like a single best answer, except here 2 or 3 answers are required from a longer list. Then there are some questions in which 2 or 3 options are correct, and they have asked for that. But this type of questions, they are not asked in the FOP or the test, and they are specifically used only in the AKB exam. So you don't have to worry about it. Okay, there is a in extended questions, can we choose same option for the 2 questions? Yes, it is a possibility. If you think that this is the same is the answer for the 2 scenarios, then you can go for it. And they ask some questions like that. It is possible. It is very possible. Now we will go for the study resources. And it was a repeated question asked in the groups, like what are the study materials and what are the recommended books for the both of the exams, FOP and the TAS. So the textbooks published are recommended by RCPCH. That is recommended. What are those books? Those are clinical cases of FOP and the clinical cases of the TAS, along with illustrated textbook of pediatrics and the science of pediatrics. So these are the 4 books which are recommended and published by RCPCH, and we also recommend that. Then the second material is RCPCH endorsed guidelines, that are pediatric guidelines and the neonatal guidelines, which are of the UK. And then there is research published in peer-reviewed journals. Why they have given this? Because it is not possible that you will find all the information in a single textbook or because there are many recent advances, there are many things which are beyond the scope of these textbooks. So that's why they have made the guidelines, which they review every year and updated them. And then there are the research which are published in very authentic journals, and we can take help from that. So if you didn't find any question, any answer to any particular question, which are not present in your textbook, then you can go for the guidelines. And if you didn't find that answer in even in the guideline, then you can go for another other sources which are provided by the RCPCH, like I will tell you in the next slide. These other further resources are British National Formulary for Children, which is for the drugs dosages for the children, pediatric drugs dosages, the mechanism of actions and their side effects. Then you can go for the Gray's Anatomy, obviously for human anatomy, Genong's Review of Medical Physiology, obviously for human physiology. Then Up to Date, this is an online app which provide a comprehensive data, comprehensive signs, symptoms, investigation, treatment options, and with the very latest guidelines, with very latest medical lab tests which are available, and with very latest medical treatment options which are available. So this is a very, very good option. If you don't find anything in your textbook, you can go on Up to Date and you can find there. And it is very reliable. It is used all over the world. Then Rennie Robertson textbook of neonatology, obviously for neonatology and pediatrics, and the Child Health Journal. This is the journal recommended by the RCPCH. So you can find anything if you can't find any answer of any question in your textbook, then you can go for it. And then there's the Nelson textbook of pediatrics, and this is a very, very good book, but it is very lengthy, so it's not possible for you to read it in such a short period, because it needs much time. But I will suggest that if you didn't find anything related to any question, any topic, then you can just relate to that textbook. You can go and you can find that topic, and you can suppose if you want to read the treatment of any disease in detail, or you can find any specific guideline, then you can go to the Nelson textbook of pediatrics and you can easily find that and you can read that. But you cannot read it all alone, because this is a very, very lengthy book, but it is a very reliable source of anything, any question, any query you want to resolve. Okay, there is a question like there's no need to take online any subscription. I will answer for the in the next slides. So what to study for FOP? That is the most asked question, most asked query about like what to read for the FOP and what to read for the TAS. I will recommend that you have to start with the clinical cases book of the FOP, pediatric and the neonatal guidelines, illustrated textbook of pediatrics, RCPCH sample papers, then past recalls, past test, and ethics file. The most important book for the FOP is the clinical cases book of the FOP, and the second number is the pediatric and the neonatal guidelines. These two things are the past and the partial of for the FOP. If you don't have enough knowledge for the of the pediatrics, then you can also go for the illustrated textbook of pediatrics. But if you are already in the training in any country, or you have completed a post-graduation qualification in pediatrics in any country, then you don't need to go for the illustrated textbook of pediatrics. You only have to go for the pediatric and the neonatal guidelines and the clinical cases book of the FOP. These two are the part and parcel of this exam. Along with that, what MCQs series you can avail. I will RCPCH sample papers and the past recalls. These are the must, and these are available everywhere on Facebook, on the Telegram, on the WhatsApp. There are many groups. We already have a group on the Telegram and the Facebook on which we have already uploaded all the data. So these are the past and parcel for the FOP. Clinical cases book, pediatric and the neonatal guidelines, past recalls, and RCPCH sample papers. You cannot skip any one of them. This is very important. Other things are optional. You can go for it, or it depends upon your knowledge of the pediatrics. So you can go for illustrated textbook of pediatrics if you don't have any knowledge of pediatrics. Otherwise, it's not necessary to go for it. Then there's a question like we don't have to go for the online subscription of the past test. No, you don't have to go for it. It's not necessary. It's not compulsory. Even if you want to do that, I already have written past test. If you want to go, there is offline series available, which you can use that. But I will recommend that you should go for the past test only for the FOP examination, because it is a very good source. It usually covers all the things which are necessary for the exam. You will read clinical cases book, you will read pediatric neonatal guidelines, but you will not be able to answer the questions without any practice. You will practice RCPCH sample papers, past recalls, but they are past recalls are not there are not complete scenarios given. They are just 1 and 2 line, and then you have to guess the answer. So I will recommend that you have to go for the past test. There is a complete scenario given, and then there will be 5 options, and you will choose that. And at the end of the option, there is an explanation given, and those explanation almost covers each and everything in that. So to know the type of the questions which will come in the FOP, and to have a very good practice of the for MCQs, you need to go for the past test, and I will recommend that. And with the ethics file, there is ethics available in the Science of Pediatrics books, in some illustrated textbook of pediatrics, and there is another 101 cases of ethics file which are available all over the net. So you can download it and you can go for it. But what are the what I just told you: clinical cases book, pediatric and the neonatal guidelines, past recalls, and RCPCH sample papers. These are the must one. You have to go for it. You cannot skip any one of them. Other things depend upon your knowledge, your experience. You know better on which level you stand. If you have a very good knowledge of pediatrics, you can skip that. But if you don't have any knowledge, or you have a very less experience in pediatrics, then you should go for that. Now, what to study for TAS? TAS is something different from the FOP. You don't need to read the pediatric and the neonatal guidelines for the TAS exam, because you have to focus on the basics like anatomy, physiology, pharmacology, and pathology, and some microbiology. So Science of Pediatrics book is a very, very good book. It is written and published by RCPCH, and it is recommended by RCPCH. So you can go for it, but it depends upon how strong your basics are. So it is also a very lengthy book. So some people are was asking me in the group that can they go for the first aid USMLE step 1 for the basics. Yes, you can go for that. There is not any hard and fast rule that you have to read the Science of Practice. But I will tell you one thing, that there is a vast anatomy and vast physiology and vast pathophysiology, vast pharmacology of the human body that is possible. There is so much things in the anatomy, in the physiology, in the pathology, that you cannot cover all of those things. You cannot cover all of those 5 years of MBBS in just one, like in a 3.5 months or 4 months or even 6 months. It's not possible. So why I am recommending this book? Because the extent of anatomy, the extent of physiology, and the extent of pharmacology, which is given in this book, which is written and recommended by the RCPCH, they will not ask beyond the scope. It may be possible that in this step 1, like first year, there is done many things, and you are going to like read many things, but you will not be able to remember anything in your exam. So you should read only those things which they are going to ask, and they will be going to ask only from the Science of Practice book. They will not ask beyond the scope. Anything which is not written in this book, they are not going to ask. So for the anatomy, physiology, pathology, pharmacology, I will recommend you must go through at least one time this book. So you should be able to know how much knowledge you need, how much anatomy you need, how much physiology you need, how much pharmacology you need. Then the second thing is the RCPCH sample papers, then obviously past recalls, then ethics files, which I already told about you in the FOP. And then there is a pharmacology file. This is also a file that is available on the net in different Facebook groups and Telegram groups. there is who have collected all of the pharmacology questions from the previous past papers. So you can go through it, and it is very helpful for the task. So the first three things: science of practice, RCPCH sample papers, and the past recalls. These are the must. And I think I have skipped one thing, that is the clinical. I will write it down. Okay, I will write it down later on. That is the clinical cases book for the task. That is also a part and parcel of task exam. So these are the same four things. Like for the FOP, they were clinical cases book, guidelines, pediatric and the neonatal, RCPCH sample, and the past recalls. And for the task, this is clinical cases book, science of practice, RCPCH sample papers, and the past recalls. Even separately, like ethic file and pharmacology file, just because these are the separate files which are present all over the net, in which they have collected all the scenarios in one file. Otherwise, ethics are available in science of practice, and then pharmacology, it is a very well and very beautifully described in the science of practice. You can go for it. So it's even if you don't want to go separately for the pharmacology file or the ethics file, you can, or if you read the science of practice book, then it is more than enough. Oh, yes, there is a clinical cases book of tasks. So up till now, if you have any question, you can ask me in the comment box. I will answer. I think I have answered all of your questions up till now. Now next we have to go on the syllabus. It is available. You have to cover all the areas of the curriculum quite well, then know some areas very well and others not at all. So this is the main thing. What I have seen, that's what students go for it. Like if they are very good in cardiology, respiratory, GIT, then they will go, they will read it and they will prepare it very well. But they will, if they are not interested in neurology and they find it very difficult, then they will just skip it, that, and then go to the interested topics just. So this is not the scene. You are not going to go through the exam like this. There is a specific percentages of every system. There are some systems among which they will ask about 50%, like endocrinology, diabetes mellitus, and cardiology. Then there is, I think, genetics and metabolic disorder. So there are some systems among which they will ask about 50%. Then there are some systems among them from which they will ask you about 28 to 30%, and some will be, there will be 14 to 20%. So this all data is available on the RCPCH website. I have just pinned a link in my presentation, and I will also give it to you after the webinar. So you have to go cover all the areas of curriculum. What is usual approach to focus on areas of interest only, and this may not be helpful for passing the exam. And you have to make sure that you allot time reasonably equally to all the areas of the curriculum, because it's not possible that you just prepare like 3 to 4 major systems and you skip all others. This is not possible. You have to focus especially on your areas which you think that those areas are weak, or you are not interested, you don't like to read it. So before preparation, I will advise you to go on the RCPCH website and just write down their theory, exam structure, and syllabus. And there will be a curriculum. There will be all the systems they will give you. Even they will give you the type of the questions they will ask, the extent of knowledge which you should need for the exam, and from which they will questions will be asked. Now, how to study? What is the golden rule? What is our usual? Just sit down and read a textbook from cover to cover. It's not going to help you. Do as many questions as possible and then read around that particular subject. What does that mean? Just sitting down and reading a textbook from cover to cover, what is it is called? It is called as a conventional method of studying. It is obsolete all over the world, and it is present in some developing countries, while in all the developed countries, they have obsolete this method of studying. So what is the new method of studying, which is available all over the world, which is present, and on which all the universities all around the world are teaching all the students. This is called as CBL method. What is CBL method? CBL learning, this is called case-based learning, which I am going to advise you here. And this is very, very effective. Do as many questions as possible and then read around that particular subject. Just don't sit down and read a textbook from cover to cover. I already told you, you have to start start from any MCQs book, anything which you for the practice, like past TET, RCPCH sample papers, or even past recalls. Just read a scenario. Suppose it is a scenario of the same thing, like we take the same example of the SVT, supraventricular tachycardia. If you are reading a scenario, suppose in this scenario they have given you the sign and symptoms of the SVT, and then they have asked you what is the most likely diagnosis, and you came out to be that it is the SVT, supraventricular tachycardia. Now you're very happy that you have answered this question. No, this is not it. Now you have to open your book, any book which you like it. Even I have given you the illustrated textbook of pediatrics and science of practice, but it's not necessary that you should go for these books. Any book which you have already read, any book of your like on which you can easily understand, you can go for it. So if you have solved a question of diagnosis of the supraventricular tachycardia, then you should open that book, and then you have to go for what are the signs and symptoms, what are the different clinical scenarios with which patient can present in the SVT, like with shock, without shock, with frequent SVT, with infrequent SVT. And then you have to go for the investigations. What investigation we would like to go on with the SVT, like it's ECG or 24-hour Holter monitoring, or there are the electrophysiological studies. And then what are the treatment options available? Like there are the vagal maneuvers, there is the IV medication, and there is the synchronized cardioversion, and then there is the radiofrequency ablation. This is, I am telling you about the FOP. Now what you have to read for the task, for the topic SVT, you have to read the anatomy of the heart. Where is the AV node present and where is the SC node present? Why it is called supraventricular tachycardia? Because this tachycardia originates above the ventricles in the atria from the SC node. So why it happens, why supraventricular tachycardia happens? Because there is a necessary pathway which is conducting the electrical impulses, which causes the heart to flutter or to beat very rapidly. So, and this is anatomy. Then the physiology, like about the blood supply of the heart, that is also come in the anatomy. Then pharmacology, there is if you are giving IV adenosine, then what is the mechanism of IV adenosine? How IV adenosine works? What is its mechanism of action? What are its side effects? What care is necessary when you are pushing the IV adenosine in a patient? So this is the pharmacology. Then pathology, I already told you what is the reason behind the SVT. It is because there is an accessory conducting pathway that is conducting the electrical impulses. So this is regarding about the task. I have told you about, from this example, what you need to read about for the FOP and what you need to know about for the task examination. So this is the rule. I know some people can't do that. They like to read a textbook from cover to cover and then go for the question. But what happens that at the end of the preparation, you have a very little time, about 1 week or even 3 to 4 days, when you are left with all of the MCQs available, but you have not read them even one time. So this is not going to happen. You are not going to get through your examination without going through the MCQ series, like past test, sample papers, and the clinical cases book. These are the past and parcel for any exam, so you have to go through it. So please consider this method, because this is CBL learning, case-based learning. You are picking a case and you are going around it, like what are the different possible options, what are the different investigations, and this by this you will be able to remember most of it as compared to if you read it from cover to cover. So this method is present from many, I think, years all over the abroad, but in the developing countries I think still there is going on the conventional method of studying, which is book to book. So you should consider CBL learning. This is case-based learning, and it is very important. So what is the next step? Next step is the pattern recognition. Like you have to, for the passing the exam is based on the pattern recognition. The same areas come up again and again, and this is very, very right. There are some topics, suppose we are talking about the cardiology since the start of this webinar. So if there is, we take the cardiology system, then there are some specific topic which they are asking again and again. Like there is the coarctation of aorta. There are the duct dependent lions. There is the SPT with shock, without shock, the treatment options. So there are some areas in every system and in every exam, they are their RCPCH's favorite, and they ask again and again and again. So you have to recognize those patterns, and then you have to prepare those topics very, very well. This needs to be learned by repeatedly doing questions and backing it up with a solid grounding in each subject from the book work. Same thing which I have already told you, when you will solve the MCQs, you will solve the questions, then you will be able to recognize those patterns, those topics, and then when you will solve those questions, and then when you will back it up with your reading from any book, then this will be the best option and best preparation available for you. What are the important topics? Like make sure that you cover certain topics well, such as these are even recommended by RCPCH. They have written on their website, like meningococcal meningitis, sepsis, coarctation of aorta, and the other duct-dependent cardiac defects, non-accidental injury, very, very favorite of RCPCH. Then syndromes, very, very favorite of the RCPCH, Down syndrome, Turner syndrome. Development and growth, very, very important and very, very favorite of RCPCH. Immunization schedule, who to and who not to give immunization. Then failure to thrive, faltering growth, basic sciences and stats. I know it's very boring areas to revise for, but they are easy marks to gain, as the questions tend to be easier than those for the other areas. And for the basic sciences, because there is anatomy, physiology, so these are up to like where is AV node situated, where is SA node situated, you know that, we all know that. So these are very straightforward marks you can gain by just going through it. So make sure, like these are just examples I want to give you. Like there are the patterns in every question, in every exam, like in the FOP and in the TAS, which you have to recognize, and those are the important topics of the RCPCH, and you have to read very, very well those topics and prepare. So Burhanuddin, what are you asking about? What, like these are for FOP or TAS? What books, study materials, what you are asking about? Okay, this is a common question. I don't know where to start. Very, very common question. So I will give you a strategy. Just start with the, if you are going for the FOP exam, then start with the PAS test. Choose one system, any system. Suppose we are again taking the cardiology system. Just start with that system from the PAS test that is already available offline everywhere on the internet. You can easily download it, and you can start with one system. Then read those. This is for the FOP, and if you are going for the TAS, I will not recommend PAS test for the TAS because it's just a waste of time. These are not that much good, and that does not help in the exam. So I will recommend that for the TAS, start with the sample papers. Read cases. After that, you have started, like suppose for the FOP, you have started from the PAS test, you have chosen cardiovascular system, and then you have to read those cases of that system from the clinical cases book of the FOP. And the TAS, you have to go hand in hand. Start with any MCQ series like PAS test for the FOP, and then attach it with the clinical cases book. There are separate cases, like there are about 6 to 7 cases of cardio in the clinical cases book of the FOP. Similarly, 3 to 4 cases for the respiratory. The same is the 4 to 5 cases of the GIT. There are total 50 cases in the FOP clinical cases book, and the 50 cases in the TAS clinical cases book. They cover almost each and everything. So when you choose a system from a PAS test, you have to go through related clinical cases Suppose these are 7 to 8 of the cardio cases, you have to read it along with it. Then you have to mark your deficiencies, and if you feel, then read book for those deficiencies. So you should know about from you are lagging. Just make notes along with it. And if you feel that even after doing past tests and clinical cases book, you are not able to understand the topic well enough, then you can go for any book like illustrated textbook of pediatrics, or even you can go for the survival guide or the science of practice, and then you can make a very good understanding of that topic from any of the book. So this is the same thing like case-based learning or CBL learning. I will not advise just read from the book and then go for the MCQs. Just start with any MCQs like past test for the FOP or sample papers for the TAS. Then read that scenarios or that cases of that system like CVS system from the clinical cases book of both. And then if you still feel that there are deficiencies, obviously there will be deficiencies, then go for the related book like TAS, Science of Pediatrics and Science of Practice, sorry, and for the FOP illustrated textbook of practice. And if still there are any ambiguities, then you can go other resource materials which are I already told you about. There could be Nelson textbook of pediatrics. There is up-to-date online web which is available. Then you can confirm from anywhere you want from the recommended sources. What is key to success? Do daily papers. How to solve past recalls. Do daily past papers. How you can do that? It's not possible. There are, suppose if you are going for the FOP exam, and if the one past paper of the FOP exam will contain 80 questions, 10 extended matching question and 70 single best answer questions. So it will not be possible for you to go through it one paper in one day. I will not advise, obviously not that. What you are going to do that, you can go for the like 5 to 6 questions, or even if you have no knowledge of pediatrics at all, then you can go even for the 2 to 3 questions per day. Suppose you are, again, we will take the example of cardio. I already explained about the SVT, but I will go for the, like, suppose you are going for VST. If there's any question of VST, then in the past paper which you are going to solve 2 to 3 questions per day, it will cover your 2 to 3 topics. So you have to solve those questions. Suppose is the VSC topic, one is the infective endocarditis, and one is the TOF. Then you have to read all these 3 topics from your textbook, and you have to go through the clinical cases book among which the CVS cases are given, and you have to find out where is the VST, or the TOF or the infective endocarditis cases given. So you have to read that. This is the how you are going to solve the past recalls. It is not possible that after 3 to 4 months of reading textbook, and after in the last 1 or 2 weeks, you are going to open the past papers and the sample papers and you are going to solve it. No, it will not help. It will not help at all. You are not going to understand anything at that time, because it is not possible that you just reading books, because you will not be able to develop that technique which is necessary for solving the question. So my advice is that just do daily 2 to 3 MCQs, like past papers questions. If you are very good enough with good knowledge, you can even go for the 6 to 7 questions per day, and they will be more than enough. Now, how to attempt the questions. What is usually what you do? Okay, you just read a question, and then you came to know that, oh yeah, I have read that in my past papers when I was solving that. I have read that in the sample papers, and this was the answer, and you just jump on to that answer. This is not the type. This is I know that past papers from the exam is almost repeated 60% from the past papers, but it's not typically same to same. They will not give you 100% same to same question. Even if they give you about 20% same to same question, but remaining 40% there will be differences. There will be difference of option. There will be difference, any minute difference, they will be present. So it's not possible that you just read the scenario and jump on the diagnosis. This is what usually happening, because I am posting the questions even sample papers questions and past paper questions in the group or Telegram group. And this is what happening in there. Just reading the question and just jump onto the journal without thinking anything. So you have to read the question very, very carefully and don't miss out keywords. And this cannot be emphasized enough. There are 1 to 2 keywords in every question. What are the keywords? Keywords are those which are directing you again in the direction of the answer, the most possible answer. And there is always a distractor in every scenario. When you will see the scenario from this context, that I have to find the keywords and I have to find the distractor, then you will be able to know that what is the right option for you. So distractor is just there to distract you from the right answer. So just ignore it, just find it and ignore it, just put it on the side and your focus on your keywords. If you're answering a question and you miss out the word except in the phrase, then you are going to mark it wrong. All of the statements are correct except you will put down the wrong answer if you have not read the this word, that is the except. Trust your instinct. Your initial answer is likely to be correct. And this is very, very right. This is very, very right. It has happened with me. And just trust your instinct. When I will advise you, when you are going to attempt the question in the exam, just think that there are no options available. Okay, just don't read out the options, just read the scenario and think for about like 4 to 5 seconds what is the possible answer, even if it's diagnosis, if it's a treatment option, or if it is investigation. Just by reading scenario, just think about from your and remember from your knowledge, your understanding, what could be the possible answer of this question. Once you have remembered that answer, then now you are allowed to read the options. Then read the options and see what is that answer which came to mind is present in and that is the most likely and most probable answer. So this is very good technique. Just don't read out the option, read the scenario and try to answer the question with your understanding and with your knowledge. Make time to check your answers at the end and that you have not read the question wrong at the first time. Please make sure that you have 10 to 15 minutes at the end just to go through all the answers. You can change your answers. It is allowed in the exam. It is not like that once you have given the answer, then you cannot change it. You can change it. You can go up and above, and you can change your answers once you have once you have completed whole exam. And if you have very good preparation, then believe me, even you can spare that about half an hour for that rechecking. So just make some time at the end for the rechecking. So there is a question, how many years would it take to clear all steps if I book for FAB attempt? Okay, we will answer these questions at the end, inshallah. What else you need? Besides knowing the subject well, you need to focus on exam technique. I already told you about that. How you have to study, how you have to attempt the question. Revision technique. Obviously, you have to spare some time at the end for the revision. Knowing your own strengths and weaknesses, subjects with more interest and the less interest. You have to know what are your strengths, what are the systems you are very good at, and what are your systems you are weak. You have to focus on the weak part as you are already good in the other subjects. And similarly, same is for more interest and the less interest. So you have to have this thing. Then why you fail? If suppose you have taken the exam and you are unable to secure the passing marks, and what could be the possibilities? You have not planning ahead. You have not planned. Sometimes what is I am seeing this manywhere on the internet in the different groups, like it's just 1 month and I want to go for the October exam. Can I pass it? I can't tell you. Believe me, I can't tell you. It's you who knows you. You know where you stand. You know what is the level of your knowledge, pediatric knowledge. You know what is your experience of pediatrics. I cannot tell you that you can go for the exam in just 1 month preparation, you can pass it. I cannot guarantee you. So you have to decide for yourself. If you are planning for the suppose FAB exam in the next year, then at least you have to start your preparation 3 months before. It's not like because a window exam window application opens about 1 month before. So it's not possible just in the 1 month that you are going for both FOP and TAS and you will be able to secure the passing marks without any preparation. No, it's not possible. And so it's all about you. You have to plan it at least before 3 to 4 months. You have to start your preparation, and then you can say that, yeah, I am standing here. Then you can ask me, ma'am, I am standing here at this level of my preparation, and there is 1 month or 2 months left. Can I go for this exam and I can I pass? Then I can tell you, yeah. Then I can tell you according to your scenario, it is possible or not possible. But without any blind, without any preparation, and with 1 month, ma'am, can I pass it? I am not here. I cannot answer that. You can answer by yourself that can you pass it or not. Not enough focus. Obviously, you have to focus. Whatever you are reading, you have to understand in depth. Having wrong attitude, this is also a very wrong attitude that I know each and everything and I can pass it in the 1 month. Yeah, you can if you have very extensive and very far knowledge of pediatrics, but still without any hard work, you cannot. I don't think so. You can go through it. Poor exam and revision technique, not revising for long enough, not enough confidence. This is very important. This is called as the mindset. Even you have put your all hard work in the preparation, you have done all each and everything which can be done, then you have to, and still you're thinking, I don't know I will pass it or not. I don't, oh god, I am not that much confident. I don't know, I am not that much intelligent that I may be able to pass that exam or not. Then this is the very wrong mindset. You have put all of your efforts, you have put all of your hard work, then you have to go like achiever in the exam. You have to have this mindset that I am reading, I am studying, I am putting my hard work in it, and I am going to make through it. This is what you need. This is called mindset. If you have a negative mindset, then obviously it will affect your performance in the exam, and you are not going to ace those exams. But if you have that mindset that I am going to make through it, and I am that much confident, I am that much intelligent, I am that much hard worker, then obviously this will affect you also your performance, and you will be more than enough confident, and obviously you are going to ace your exams. So put your efforts and put your hard work in your preparation, and the exam is all yours, I am telling you. Then there are personal issues. Obviously, we all have personal issues, but it's we have to put aside all of the things when we are preparing for the exam, because life is hard. It's not a bed of roses. But for to achieve something, you have to ignore something, you have to lose something. This is the difference between the achievers and the failures. But failures too, that they have excuse for everything. If you are preparing for the exam and you are unable to pass, then you have enough excuse for the failures, like this was my personal problem going on, this was the problem, this was the problem, this was the problem. You are not going to accept that you didn't give your enough time, enough focus, and enough hard work for your exam. What do achievers do? When it's time for their hard work, their focus, they put all things aside and they are going to focus on that particular task, and they are going to achieve that. So you have that, you should have that mindset that I am going to achieve this, and I am putting all my hard work, and I am putting all my energy and time. Okay, this is the issue, but I will address it later on. Okay. So there are many questions, I know that, in the chat box, but I think I should finish this, and then we will answer those questions at the end of the session. Then how to take exam? Let's go through a quick. You have to create, number one is the exam account. Okay, whose mic is on? Please, can you mute it? You have to create an exam account on the MRCPCH website. Please mute your mic. Yeah, you have to log in. Okay, you have to go on to the RCPCH website, and you have just on the login with your email and your name, and you have to create an exam account. It is recommended to do that 3 to 4 weeks before application window for any exam opens, because it is very busy during exam application window when it is open. That because applications are being accepted all over the world, so RCPCH they recommend that you do that 3 to 4 weeks before application, because it takes at least 10 working days to process the registration. For UK trainees, you need GMC number and you are all good to go. But for all the overseas candidates, international medical graduates, you need to have the evidence of your primary medical qualification, that is the MBBS degree. You have after creating the exam account, you have to upload your MBBS degree, and then the RCPCH will verify that, and then they will give you any confirmation. They will send you a confirmation email, and then you are good to go, and you can register for the exam when the window opens for that particular exam. And then you have to update some personal details about like your phone number, your email, your date of birth, and your work place, and then some interest, like if you are interested in pediatrics, cardiology, neurology, respiratory, or GIT. These are some things you need for the exam account. Then what happens? Select an exam center. Then there was a lot of queries regarding the exam centers, like if the online invigilation available or not, and in which countries the exam center is available. So there are two options. One is the test center physically, where you have to go and take the exam, and second is the personal space at one's home with online invigilation. The exam centers are available in different countries, like in the UK and the Ireland and Malta, they are present. While in the Middle East, if we talk about, it is available in Bahrain, Egypt, Jordan, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Sudan, and UAE. While if we talk about the South Asia, it is in the Hong Kong, Malaysia, India, Nepal, Pakistan, Singapore, and Sri Lanka. Only these are the countries where the exam test centers are available. Otherwise, if you are not in this if exam center is not available in your country, then obviously you can go for the online invigilation, and it is available in all the countries all over the world except Egypt, Sudan, and UAE. That is because of some technical difficulties and government restrictions. They are not available yet in these countries, but it is available in all other countries, the online invigilation. So if you are in a country where the exam center is not available, you can easily go for the online invigilation. How can I get seat? Obviously, there are limited number of places. So these are allocated on the first come and the first served basis. No prioritization. So you have to just be on time when the window opens, because the seats are filled within seconds and within minutes. Believe me, seats are booked within minutes. When to book exam? It is conducted 3 times in a year in UK and overseas. That is the Feb, June, and October. So you can choose to sit both examination on the same day, or apply to sit either FOP or TAS separately. Okay, this was also a query that should we have to go for, it is compulsory that we have to go for both exams on the same day. No, it's not compulsory. It's your choice. If you have prepared well enough for both of the exams, you can take both of the exam on the same day. FOP will be conducted in the morning and TAS will be conducted in the afternoon. But if you have not enough time to prepare for both our exams, then you can go for one and take that exam. Then you have to arrange the fee. That is for the UK, it is £350 for FOP and £350 for TAS. And overseas, it is £435 for FOP and £435 for the TAS. So before the window application opens, you have to have arranged this exam fee. It should be present in your bank account. Then you have to arrange how to pay fee. You have to arrange a credit or the debit card, which is linked to UK bank account. It is credit card with internationally open transactions, and the debit card, which should be linked to the UK bank account, because there are many queries and many difficulties during that application window period when opens, because debit card usually does not proceed with the fee if it is not linked to the UK bank account. So it is better if you have a UK bank account, then you should go for that. Otherwise, you may have some colleague or some friend there in the UK who is working in the UK. who can pay for you with his or her credit or debit card, and then you can pay him or her after that. So it is very necessary, and the main thing which main difficulty during booking an exam is this paying fee, that is the credit or the debit card. So you should arrange it beforehand, before application window opens. And when the application window opens, you should be putting debit card or a credit card in your hand just for the paying fee. And they do not accept bank drafts and checks. Previously they were accepting bank drafts and checks, but now they have stopped this method of paying fee. How to book an exam? You should have a laptop in hand. You should have a Google Chrome. Please clear all of your history, Google RCPCH website or RCPCH account, log into your account, and then go to the exam dashboard. Application window opens 9:30 UK on first day and closes 16:30 on the last day. Keep your debit card, credit card in hand. These are the UK times, so convert it according to your country. Places will be reserved for 10 minutes whilst you complete your application and payment. After 30 minutes, your draft application will be removed and you will need to restart your application. If you are not going to pay that within the particular time, then you are going to lose your seat. So all they recommend, arrange your fee in your bank account, then arrange debit or credit card and or method, like if someone is going to pay for you internationally, then you have to prepare it according to the time limit given and according to the window when opens, because as soon as the window opens, all the seats, most of the seats, especially online seats, they within minutes. So you have to be very proactive for booking a seat. What happens after booking exam? Obviously, you will receive a confirmation email from the RCPCH, and they will send you an admission document 4 weeks after the application period ends. What will that admission document have? They will have, if you are going to appear on the exam center, then they will give you the date and the time and all the other information regarding taking the exam. And if you are going for the online invigilation, then they will provide you with the software which you have to upload on the laptop and on your mobile for the invigilation. Then they will have to go for a test run check, that is for the online invigilation. So there are multiple, whatever is necessary for the online invigilation or the exam center exam, they will be provided with that admission document 4 weeks after the application period ends. Can I withdraw my exam from the exam? Yes, you can withdraw from the exam. Suppose you have a window opens today and you have applied for that exam, but after 2 days you think that you are not ready for that exam. You can go for the withdrawal by giving an application from the same dashboard, exam dashboard, but during that application window, making sure that the window is not closed, and you will be entitled to a 100% refund without providing a reason or evidence. And this refund may be processed after the application window closes. But if the application window is closed, now you cannot book for the exam. You cannot book exam. It means all seats have been filled and they have closed this application window for the exam. Then if you apply for the application, then you are not going to get a refund, except in some exceptional circumstances which you have to provide with and you have to give the evidence. But even then, RCPCH will decide whether you will get a refund or not. And if you get a refund, then it will be a partial refund. It will not be a total 100% refund. So make sure, be very sure when you are applying for the exam that you are going to for it or not. But after the examination, but if you have booked the exam, but for if any reason you are not able to sit your exam on the on that date, then you will have up to 2 weeks to request a withdrawal after the exam day. You are unable to reach that exam, you get sick or you have any other personal problem and you are not able to sit your examination, then after that date you will have 2 weeks to apply for withdrawal and you will be get 100% refund. For candidates in the UK training, you must do this in order to avoid the attempt counting towards. If UK training, it is for the UK trainees. If they have booked an exam and they're unable to sit that examination, then you have to make the application for the withdrawal within 2 weeks, because if they didn't do that, then it will be counted as their attempt towards the GMC 6 attempt rule, because they have 6 attempts to pass the part 1. Same is the case for the withdrawal. You have to navigate to your exam booking system dashboard via your MRCPCH web account. Then you have to go to the My Recent Booking, and you have to select the exam you wish to cancel. That is the FOP and the TAS. And there, by clicking view, there will be the window open, which will show you a button called request withdrawal. And then you have to just follow the instruction on the screen for that withdrawal. So that's why it is very important that you have to very sure and you have to be well prepared when you're booking for the exam, because it is a costly exam. Obviously, if you are there is no exam center available in your country, you have to travel to the other country for the exam, and that also adds cost to the exam. So there is option for the online invigilation, but it is only it will be available only if you are very proactive and you have all the arrangements done before booking the exam, so you can book the exam within minutes. Okay, previous slide. Now this was all about the MRCPCH part 1. I hope you have a very comprehensive insight of the MRCPCH part 1, how to book exam and what to read and where to read and how to attempt the questions. Now we will go to the question and answer sessions. Okay. How many years would it take to clear all steps if I book for the FAB attempt? It's all, I will also again say that it's all up to you. If you are going for the FAB attempt, then for the FOP and the test, you will clear that. Then you can go for the next exam attempt for the AKP. Please mute your mics, please. Then in the same in September exam, you can go for the AKP, and if you pass that exam, then you can go for the clinical obviously exam. But here for the clinical exam, you have to wait a bit, like about 1 to 2 years. It depends all upon the exam center availability. Like in UK, it is easy to get a seat for the clinical, but all over the other world, or other countries where the clinical exam is available, you have to wait a little bit, because there are preferences given to those who have cleared the exam previously. So it all depends like how you are preparing. You can tell yourself that if you are going for the FAB exam attempt, then when you are able to go for the AKP, and when you are well enough prepared to go for the clinical exam. Ma'am, can I work as a medical officer in UK after FOP TAS and AKP? There is not such a thing like as medical officer in the UK. Because if you have GMC already, then you can work as a registrar, or you can work as a clinical fellow in the UK, but you cannot without GMC registration, you cannot work there just after passing FOP TAS and AKP exam. You have to clear your clinical exam, because when you have completed your MRCPCH exam, then you can go for the GMC registration and you can apply it. But there is another route for the UK jobs, that is called as the MTI, Medical Training Initiative, in which you have to clear OET or IELTS exam, and then you can apply for that particular jobs which are written as the Medical Training Initiative, that are clinical fellow, senior clinical, junior clinical fellow jobs, and they sponsor you GMC. So this is another route if you don't have GMC. If you already have GMC, then you can straightforward go for the jobs. But for GMC, you have to complete your MRCPCH exam. And if you can't do that, then meanwhile, you can go for the MTI applications and MTI jobs. Is it paper-based exam on the center? No, it is not paper-based exam. It is totally computer-based exam. After part 2 exam, in how much time someone appear to clinical exam? And second thing is that, is there 2 or 3 year training is necessary? No, 2 or 3 year training is not necessary. And the usual waiting time is 2 years, which is written on the RCPCH website. because there are some priorities which they have to give to their UK trainees, and someone whose exam is going to like FOP and TAS and AQP exam is going to expire. Expiry date is 7 years. So they have to prioritize the candidates accordingly. So the usual waiting time is 1 to 2 years. And if it is on computer, if you click an option and go to another question, will it be there to mark? Yes, you can go up and down in your computer while taking an exam. Even you can skip those questions and they will appear at the end. So at the end of the exam, before clicking the end, there's a button at the end of the when you have marked all the questions that end the exam. Before clicking that, you can go up and down. You can even change your answers. You can see all of your questions that you have marked or not marked. So it is very easy. Don't worry about that. And one thing I will suggest that I skip it in the webinar, that before appearing the exam, just go onto the RCPCH website and there is a test run for taking the exam. That is sample papers. Just click on that and they will give you the same scenario where, how it is presented in the exam on the computer. So just have some practice on that, like how you can mark the question, how you can skip the question, how you can go up and down. You will be able to have no difficulty in the exam. Also, if we skip a question, will we be able to come back at the end and attempt it? Yes, obviously, all the skip questions will be present at the end of and there will be number at on the side of your screen that you have skipped this many questions. So they will appear at the end of the when you have marked all the questions. All the skip questions will be available at the end of your sheet. Can we work after passing FOP TAS and AQP? I already told you, no, you cannot work without any GMC registration unless you have already through PLAB route. But there is another way, that is MTI Medical Training Initiative, in which you have to go for the OET or IELTS, and then you have to work on the jobs which have a label with MTI jobs, which are usually senior clinical fellow, junior clinical fellow jobs on the NHS website. And only those jobs with title of MTI, they sponsor you GMC, and then you can work there even without appearing in the clinical exam. Ma'am, I am interested in CH and member if Royal College of Emergency Medicine, which one is having scope in UK? Okay, emergency medicine is something else which has a very good scope in UK, but it is a very busy. So it's up to you whether you decide for MRCPCH is for pediatrics, and emergency medicine, it is, I think, MRCGP, that is for general physician. So scope, both have scope, but in ER emergency medicine have much more scope than the pediatrics. You have to ask to some person who is already working in UK in the emergency medicine for this question. I can only tell you about the pediatrics. That previous slide again, show please. Thank you so much. Okay, you are welcome. Due to some urgent work, I missed your talk and the recording. Yes, it will be accessible. You can ask in our WhatsApp or the Telegram group. We have to do all recalls, how to have to do all the guidelines, or will you will guide more specific topics. You at least you have to do past 5 years recalls, minimum past 5 years recalls, or if you don't have much time, then you can even go for the last 3 years recalls. It is very important. And no, you don't have to go for all the guidelines. There are some topics which are much important and some less important. So they are around 10 to 12 topics which you have to do from the pediatric guidelines and the neonatal guidelines. For clinical exam, when training is necessary, no, it is not. Do they conduct clinical exam only once a year all over the world? No. As theory exams, clinical exam is also conducted 3 times in a year. How we do GMC? You have to clear. There are 2 routes. If you are in your initial, if you have just passed your MBBS and you are going through your house job, then you can apply for the PLAB, and you can go through that PLAB 1 and PLAB 2, and you can secure your GMC registration. But if you're an old graduate, you have some pediatric training, or you are already doing pediatric training in your home country, then I will suggest that you just complete your MRCPCH and then you can apply for the GMC registration. Means it would take 3 to 4 years to do all the steps of MRCPCH. You can clear theory exam in 1 year. Like in one diet, suppose in Feb you just go for FOP and TAS, and then in June you can go for September you can go for AKP. But for the clinical, it depends in which country you are and which exam center you are applying, and then it varies. Thank you so much. Okay. You are welcome. You are welcome. Skip questions only come one time again or more. When one time you have skipped the questions, then suppose you have skipped 10 questions, then they will appear at the end. And among them, you have done about 6 questions, and you have skipped again 4 questions. Then after doing the 6 questions, all the 10 questions, again the questions, like the 4 questions which are skipped, they will also again appear at the end. So unless you have completed all the questions, they will about to appear in the end. So don't worry about that. You will have enough time for doing all the questions. Yes, I have. Ma'am, would you share PDF book for the clinical cases of FOP? Please, Hidayatullah. Please join our Telegram group and the WhatsApp group, and also we have a Facebook group, but the more active group is the Telegram. We have uploaded all the materials, all the clinical cases books, the past recalls, even the past test Google Drive in the Telegram group. You can download it from that. Can you guidelines topic, please? Yes, I will. Obviously, I will make a PDF file and will upload it in our Telegram group. Telegram group, please share. Yes, we will share it. Thank you so much for such a wonderful orientation session. You are welcome. It's for all of you, for your benefits. If any questions are left, you can ask me. We have still, we can wait for 2 to 3 minutes, I think. Ma'am, how much would it cost till clinical? I'm sorry, I'm not able to understand your answer, Hidayatullah. Please, can you ask me again? Okay, total fee for the Pakistan for the clinical exam, the fee is 1,365 pounds, and that is about 6 to 7 lakhs for Pakistan. I think there are no more questions. Then thank you so much for all of you joining this wonderful session. I hope so. Now most of your queries which you were asking in the daily routine are answered now. Thank you so much.